of times people's hamstrings are really tight. So I always do a tester. I always start out with my static stretches. My static stretches are just a tester to see what your range is in a stretch. The hamstrings, because they run from underneath the ischial tuberosity and they come all the way down past the knee to attach on the side of the tibia and the fibula. So we know it crosses this knee joint, which means in order for me to stretch them correctly, I have to keep the knee as straight as possible. Now, some people's hamstrings get so tight they start buckling their knee. If you notice that they're starting to buckle that knee, the best thing you can do for them is make them dorsiflex their ankle. When you dorsiflex your ankle, it locks your knee. Then I'm going to take one hand and support the ankle, and I'm going to take one hand and support your knee, which means I should be putting you into a stretch. Oh. Now, notice when I lifted her up into this stretch, what happened to the opposite leg?
It raised.
The knee raised. This is an indication that in order for you to stretch your hamstring, you have to incorporate the other leg to give you momentum to move up. Is that a stretch?
No.
No. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this opposite leg. I'm going to put it right there. That's going to hold your behind in place.
Oh, my God.
You know it. She already felt it. Dear Jesus. This is all you got.
It's still raising.
See, I knew you had this in you. I knew you had this in you. This is pretty dope. This is almost a complete 90, right? Now, what I don't want to see is this.
Jesus.
What's wrong with this body mechanic?
It's not supporting. Well, everybody depends on it's not
Your
supporting
boob
her.
shouldn't be touching her leg.
My boob should not be near her leg. Should her leg be on my shoulder?
No.
If Lenore's leg get real tired and she decides she just gonna flop, what's gonna happen to my shoulder?
It's gonna fall.
I'll
Like,
be
it's
honest,
gonna, yeah.
she gonna tear me up.
That's if the leg is really heavy and it flops.
Exactly. I'm trying to teach y'all for any body type. Now, if you drop your leg on me, do you know that your leg is heavy when it's dead? You can separate my shoulder. If I keep you here, your client sleep on the table too. You want me to do what? They're going to tear your shoulder up. Do not put a client's leg on your shoulder. This is not beneficial for you, okay? Again, when this leg dies, like it's dead weight, it's very heavy. You're going to injure yourself.
Died like it's dead weight.
So,
You remember what Bakaya said? She gonna die twice.
is this good body mechanics?
She gonna die twice.
I'm what?
You're not close enough to your work.
Say it again.
She gonna die.
I'm what, y'all?
Extra
People do this, you know that, right? They right here, and they try to stretch from right here. That's how they look. What's wrong with that body
God,
mechanics?
my back is hurting just looking at you.
This is too
Yeah.
I'm just concerned for your nose in that position.
in that position.
Yeah.
Bring your tail closer to your client and lunge.
Everything is
Ah,
The way coming
you
up.
got a little bit of range, huh?
just a little bit.
You raggedy and sick. What you been doing this morning?
Raggedy.
I ain't did nothing this morning.
You said it's her fascia. Her fascia all stirred up and warmed up and everything. Done been put in the heater. Yeah, I understand. All right, so we're just gonna hold this static stretch. This is actually good body mechanics. You know why? If her knee buckles, I have her knee. If she wants to try to play with her ankle and drop her leg, I have straight armed her, which means now I'm in a position where
In control.
I'm in control of my stretch for my client. Y'all see that?
I feel it in this hip though.
Yeah, I know.
You're stretching the.
You know why you feel it?
Why?
Cause your leg back over here.
Well, it won't stay on. It won't stay that way. As
Her
soon as
leg,
you-
that's
I'm
especially.
short, so as soon as you lift that, it's gonna rise back up and go right back over there. See?
No.
Yeah.
Put it
See?
down. Put it
But it's
down.
not on there.
Put it down. Thank you.
It's still raising.
I know it's gonna raise because you're hip tight, but is it raising to the point to where it's making you stretch this any differently? No, it's not. Keep your leg over there. Y'all see this? This is really bad that her other leg has to continue to be in the equation to do a stretch. Your hamstrings are tight.
Yeah.
Y'all got that? Now, that was a static stretch. Hold it 20 to 30 seconds. Now let's do CRS with this.
Can I put this leg back
No.
on the table?
Keep that leg over there since they don't act right. Okay? So in this position, this is why your body mechanics are now going to be important. You're going to contract your hamstring, relax your hamstring, then we're going to stretch your hamstring. How do I make her hamstring contract?
I'm making her push against.
Push against
Right, so that means the contraction goes where?
this way.
Towards who?
You, the therapist.
Say that again. The contraction goes where?
The therapist, you.
The stretch goes where?
Towards
Towards the
you.
client.
The contraction goes where?
Towards the
The
therapist.
The
therapist.
stretch goes where?
To the client.
The contraction goes where?
Towards the
The
therapist.
stretch goes where?
To the client.
That's going to help y'all on the practical. When you sit here trying to figure out how do I, the contraction goes towards the,
Therapist.
and the stretch goes towards the.
Client.
Are you confused again?
No, I'm just wondering why.
That's
we
so,
was
right.
hired.
So
You ain't just not hearing this.
That part?
No, you're not.
Are you sure?
I taught you that in upper.
You did?
The pec, the contraction goes towards
You
the
probably
stretch.
did.
I taught you this in upper.
Don't look like you
Oh,
about
she
to
about
say
to
Yeah,
run
I
up
was-
somewhere. I got that. I got that.
I had to remember where I was.
Eyes got wide and everything.
It's not that you haven't been showed. It's just you have to do what?
Memorize.
Remember it. That means you haven't been doing your.
15 minutes.
I mean, I've
So what were you
studied,
just
but I don't
stretching?
remember
that?
Maybe it's how she worded
Stretching
it.
the
Yeah.
hamstring.
Sometimes
But when
it
you
takes.
did the contraction.
I haven't done the contraction yet. I just talked about it.
Oh, I thought I missed
Tell y'all
something.
what I
Oh, this
was
is
doing.
important now.
No, I was just talking y'all. So what we
'Cause I
did
always
before
got
was
confused
what
with
type
this
of
part.
stretch?
Static.
Static stretch. I haven't done CRS yet. I was just talking about it.
Okay.
So here, the contraction goes towards the,
The
and the
therapist.
stretch is going towards the.
The client.
Okay, so what I want to have you do, contract towards me, means I want you to try to put your leg down. Use 20% of your strength, okay? I just told you I ain't 100 yet, okay? Don't throw me over there. Okay? All right, I'm just saying. Because if you throw me,
I'm not gonna throw
I'm going to
you.
lift this whole table up with you on it.
Hello, Shamiz.
Good morning.
What up, boo thing?
Boo thing.
That's big sis.
Yeah.
All right, so you try to come down 20%. Go ahead. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's the contraction. Relax. 1, 2. Take a deep breath. And exhale. We're going to go into the
Stretch.
stretch. Now, from that position, did I go back to my original position? From that position, contract again. Go. Push down. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Relax. 1, 2. Take a deep breath. And exhale. And we're going to increase the stretch. See how easy it goes with her breath. You have one more in you. You're not shaking yet. Push back towards me. Huh? I know it's cheating. 2,
What?
6, 8, 10. Relax. Deep breath. And exhale.
What's your name that's cheating?
How much? Because it's coming up.
Oh, her opposite leg.
You see that?
Her toes are kind of.
And then we bring it down. 1, 2. Reset. Take a deep breath. And exhale into
Oh, yeah.
your new stretch.
Oh my God.
You see that? You see that?
Girl.
Now, what did I do? Was I moving with her breath?
Yes.
Did you see how on that exhale, I was just able to walk right into that stretch? Now, if it were me and you were my personal client, at ASM, they don't want y'all on the tables. I mean, you can get on the table in class, but in the clinic, they want both feet
On the
to
ground.
stay planted on the ground for liability purposes because not all the rooms down there have carpet. Some of those rooms are tile. And if you have medium, you know how you be using it drop on the floor a little. If you slip and fall in there, it'll be a problem. Keep both your feet down. Now, if you was my client though, mine, let me show y'all what I would do. Okay? I'm gonna get on this table with you. You
Oh
ready?
my God, no.
It's happening. Now, I'm gonna get on the
I
table
already
with my
know what
client.
you finna do.
How you know?
Cause,
How you know?
cause I'm used to this leg coming up. You finna prevent this leg from coming up, and you finna stretch me.
Yeah, I take your shoes off. I ain't even. That's disrespectful. One leg up. Am I still in my body mechanics?
Yes.
Oh my God.
All I did was put my ankle across her ankle,
Oh, I didn't see that.
supporting your heel and ankle, support your knee, and I would lunge into that stretch.
Ah,
So that doesn't hurt your
I'm
foot?
trembling.
Yeah, no, I felt it.
I'm trembling.
Now, yes.
So you wouldn't get on the table to do that until after you've already done the static
Yes,
portion of that.
always start with static. Don't ever jump straight into PNF. You want to see what their stretch range is first. Then once you see what their actual flexibility is, you know the perimeters to work in. Okay? If I go straight to PNF and I don't know your range, this is how you tear muscle tissue, because you're stretching it beyond its capacity. And we don't want to stretch it beyond its capacity aggressively. We want to stretch it beyond its capacity gradually.
So always start
that
with
make sense?
static.
So this is what I would do to you, honey, because I like to get on the table.
Oh my God.
And you see how she was shaking fast as heck? Why? Because what am I doing to the other leg?
You're
It
holding
can't
it
go
down.
nowhere,
Yeah.
honey. I got you locked down. Which means you can't cheat this stretch. I could be all up on you. And notice I'm still in my body mechanics because I can do what?
Lunge.
Don't fall.
Yeah, girl, you know that ankle flimsy. I'd have an accident here, nowhere else. You have to come catch me. All right.
Can you read what's a PNF?
What does it stand for?
Yes.
Proprioceptive
I keep
neuromuscular
forgetting.
facilitation.
Okay, that's what the F is.
Facilitation. Proprioceptive. What does proprioception mean?
Proprioceptor.
Ception.
Sense.
Proprioception.
When you sense it,
Sense of self. Understanding who you are, knowing yourself. So what are proprioceptors?
the sensors in the
Like
body.
the signal,
sense-
they
Yeah,
signal.
you better.
The Golgi something and something.
Golgi.
Golgi tendon organs and what else?
Muscle sphincter cells.
Muscle sphincter. Oh, so y'all been looking at some work? No?
Yeah, just a little.
I ain't gonna say I did a lot. Proprioceptors. Yeah. Raggedy. Okay. So did y'all see that? Now let's do reciprocal inhibition. Let's do that, right? So with reciprocal inhibition, the contraction is for the, the
Antagonist.
relaxing is for the, but the stretch is for the.
Agonist.
Right. So now, what's the antagonist to the hamstrings?
The quads.
The quads. So now I have to make the quads contract, make the quads relax, but I'm stretching the
Hands.
hamstrings. So y'all understand that?
Mm-hmm.
This I gotta see.
No?
Because I thought that what you just did was CRS and RI.
Just
So
CRS.
that's why I want to see it.
It was just
I don't
CRS.
understand.
See? Contract the hamstring, relax the hamstring, stretch the hamstring. So it was just CRS.
The RI was
But her pushing
when she
against
pushing,
your
that was
hand.
RI.
Yeah.
All
That
of
was
right.
contract.
All of it is like MRT. All dynamic stretches are like MRT, always against resistance. It's just either it's the agonist that I'm resisting or the antagonist that I'm.
That's right. Like the way, like if she push it up or down.
Yeah. So
Right.
in RI or CRS period is always gonna be like MRT. Y'all got that?
Right.
CRS dynamic stretches are always gonna be like MRT. Testing the muscle. That's what I'm doing. I'm testing the muscle, then stretching it. But what is the purpose of CRS and CRS with RI? What's the purpose of dynamic stretching?
To increase the range of motion.
That's not the purpose.
To fatigue.
Say
To
it again.
fatigue the muscle.
To fatigue the muscle. Making the muscle contract against me fatigues the muscle. If the muscle is fatigued, can't I get a better stretch out of it?
Yes.
Yeah, because the muscle's tired. If the muscle's fighting me the whole time, am I going to be able to get a good stretch out of it?
No.
That's why static stretches are great. They're not as effective as dynamic. Because with static stretches, you ain't got to do nothing. I'm just stretching you and holding. But with dynamic stretches, now I have to involve the contractile tissue more against resistance to make it tired. so I can get a better stretch. Does that make sense? Do y'all understand that theory? Because if you understand that theory, stretching makes perfect sense to you. And knowing when to use static and when to use dynamic makes sense to you. For example, my client is a runner. Would I start off with PNF?
No.
Why not?
Wait, would you start off with PNF?
And y'all said no.
You
Why not?
Don't you start with
Because-
state either way?
Why?
To fatigue.
To do what? To test the range. I just said that to y'all, right? You want to always start out with static so I can test the range. So I know the capacity that that tissue has to stretch. If I just go in and I don't know what I'm doing, can't I tear my client's muscle?
Yes.
Can I tear the fascia
Yes.
or the tendon
Or
that's
the-
connected to that bone?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. So that's the purpose of me starting out with static. Now, when do I know if static is enough, or do I need to switch to dynamic? When do I know when to switch?
Well,
Could you
if
do
we
it?
stretch her in static and her range of motion is like this, like really, and she's like really, really flexible and wonderful, then you don't need to do the others. Because that would
So when do I need to do it?
If
No,
muscles
it's
tight,
upon
or the
acknowledgement
other
of resistance, or yeah.
Right. So if I go to stretch you with a static stretch and I notice that your range of motion is very limited in that stretch, static stretch is not going to be enough for you. Now I'm going to have to fatigue your muscle because your muscle is in too much of the control. So now I need to take the control back, make your muscle tired so I can get a better stretch.
So,
CRS.
so when we start off with static, and in order for us to know that we need to move on to CRS, the muscle's gonna shake. That's when it's gonna talk
Or
to you.
it's just limited.
Or
For
limited,
example,
right?
I go to stretch her hamstring and she can only do that.
Yeah, of course.
At that point,
yeah.
we need to do CRS. What about if she was just right here, almost to 90, but not quite there yet? I need to do what?
CRS.
CRS.
Yeah.
But if I go to stretch her and she all the way up here,
Yeah.
then what?
Then there's
Yeah,
no.
them static stretches work perfect for you. That's the best stretch for that client. But if it's restricted, limited in any capacity, static stretches may not be enough for them. Now we need to change it to more dynamic stretches. And depending on that person, you decide what is necessary. I always start off with CRS. CRS don't work? Or you've been doing CRS too long? Switch it up. Add RI. Shoot, and if you've been doing CRS and CRS with RI, and now your client too used to it, add ballistics. These are all dynamic stretches, are they not?
Yes.
So obviously dynamic stretches are for people who are very limited in their mobility. Static stretches are for people who kind of stretch on a regular basis. They only need a little bit of pushing. They don't need a whole lot. You understand that? If there's an injury, do I do dynamic stretches? Why not?
inflammation, why provoke it?
Huh?
There's inflammation, so why provoke the inflammation?
Good. If it's inflammation now, are you going to fight me back anyway? And if you do fight me back, is it going to be enough for me to feel like I can fatigue that muscle? And is it going to be painful for my client?
Yes.
Very much so. Then we'll stick with just static stretches or not even stretch at all until the tissues heal.
Right.
Unless it's not too bad and you can ice it and then stretch it, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm learning
Now you're
something.
thinking like a what?
Therapist.
Therapist, which means I have options in my treatment, which is why massage therapy doesn't get boring. You always got something else crazy you can pull out your hat. Unless you won't get people, all they want to do is relax. And your job is boring. All right, so let's do RI. All right. So now I have to make your quads contract. Relax your quads. But then the stretch is for the hamstrings. So how do I make my client's quad contract?
By
Say it with
lifting
your chest, ma'am. I thought I said it with her chest. She grimaced. That was awesome. Oh, that was awesome. All right, it is. It's dope, though. All right, so what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to hold you here. I'm going to have you try to lift your leg up, and I'm going to resist you. Notice I'm doing it while she's laying on the table. This is what some therapists do. I hate it. It's called working too hard. They have the client like this, and tell them, now pull the leg towards you. You know how hard this is for your client to already be up this high? Now go ahead and pull towards you against resistance. She got to bring her whole lower back into that. Did y'all see her arch her back? She was like, that's working too hard for the client and the therapist. So I'm going to just say, put your leg here and lift up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Relax. 1, 2, inhale, and exhale. This is not correct, but I just had to keep her leg down. Did y'all see that? That's because I ain't put your leg right there. Put your leg right there. Leave it right here on the edge, right
It's
there.
not gonna stay there.
I know it because you little. Did y'all see that? Let me show it to you again. Contract your quad, lift up against my hand. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Relax. 1, 2, inhale, and exhale. That leg is raggedy. You see that? CRS was, I'm here. The contraction goes where? Towards the
Therapist.
relax, and then the stretch goes towards the client. Reciprocal inhibition, the opposite. Now the contraction goes where?
Towards her.
Towards the
It's the same
It's
thing.
still
It
the
goes towards the who?
therapist.
Therapist. And now the stretch goes where?
the client.
Does that make sense? Did y'all understand that?
Yeah.
You don't understand that. Come here. Sometimes you gotta do it. Put your hand above the knee, below the knee. Tell your client to lift up into your hand, which will make the quad contract. Hold it for 10 seconds. Go.
Okay, Nora, can you lift up against my hand? 6, 8, 10. Relax.
Grab the leg. Inhale.
Okay, inhale, Nora, and release.
Stretch that hamstring. Support the knee. Support the ankle. Move up, lunge up. So you got to get closer. Lunge up.
Okay.
Now, have her up. Take her back up. Now let's do CRS. The contraction goes where?
Towards the therapist.
The contraction goes toward the therapist. Can I show you why I'm confused?
Go ahead.
All right. So